Hey there, still getting set up. It's my first time doing a YouTube live, so I'm not 100% sure how I see the um, comments. So I'll go on another device and pull it up so that I can see the comments. How's everybody doing out there? Let's see. YouTube. Let's see. I should be live. It should be relatively easy for me to find my live stream. Let's see. Live. Ah, here we are. So how do I view it? Looks like we're live. There we go. Bam, there we are. We're live. Oh, I turned off chat for the live stream. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. All right. When I say this is my first time doing this, I'm not even kidding. Looks like when I set this up, I may have accidentally made it so chat is not possible. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I don't see a quick way to enable chat. It's probably something I did that I will do better the next time. But anyway, I came on here because I wanted to talk about CrossFit. Some of you know I'm Julie Jones from the Masters Division on Instagram. I absolutely love CrossFit. Been in the space since 2015. As an athlete, I do have my L1 and some of the other certs courses that CrossFit offers. I'm also a certified personal trainer and behavior change specialist. So I try to look at things from a holistic view in the space of fitness, but also specifically when we talk about CrossFit, the sport, versus CrossFit, the methodology. So there's been a lot of conversation lately. One, the Open just ended, quarterfinals just ended, semifinals are about to start. The workouts got leaked. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. Dave Castro had an explanation for it on his latest week in review. I just kind of feel like instead of constantly having workouts leak, just set a date and put them out there and let everybody know when they're going to be out there. Just because these leaks are happening way too often. But that's neither here nor there. So what I really wanted to talk about is this professionalization of CrossFit, because there's a lot of talk about it. You hear a lot of the athletes talking about it, the PFAA is talking about it, coaches from training camps are talking about it. CrossFit talks about it to some extent. But I feel like we need to take a step back and talk about what professionalization looks like, what it could look like, and what CrossFit needs to do to take that step. I say this, like I said, as a lover of CrossFit. But I think we are definitely, as a community, putting the cart before the horse when we talk about professionalization. A lot of times I hear about people talking about the benefits of professionalization, like getting the athletes more money, getting them out to compete more in events. And those are all things that I want. I I think it's great for athletes to have those opportunities. It'd be great to see. I haven't gotten to see a lot of them, but I have seen clips from the Taylor versus the World videos. It'd be great to have more opportunities for athletes who are at the elite level or are desiring to be at the elite level to have these opportunities to get out there, to have some competition experience, and to be able to earn some more money. Here's here's the challenge I see. A lot of times when you hear specifically coaches from training camps, and I'm not going to name any names because I feel like it's a lot of them. They talk about, well, if you look at the PGA tour, if you look at the NFL, if we look at this sport, this is how their athletes are treating. They get sponsorship deals, they get um, money, they get to be in with baseball, they get to be like in the all-star games, things like that. Those things would be great for CrossFit. I would love to see that for CrossFit. But I think we got to start rolling things back and realizing that in order to get there, we have to fix CrossFit, the sport. And what I mean by that is there's a difference between CrossFit, the methodology, which we all know and love, and CrossFit, the sport. CrossFit, the methodology, gives us a set of standards and gives us a set of principles that everyday athletes go to the gym, become stronger, become faster, become more efficient in their movements. And they're doing it to be fit for life. When we go over to sport, the main goal now is a little bit different than the methodology. We want you to go fast and we want you to go heavy. And the standards that we have for the class may be different for the sport. Perfect example. I feel like in the past few years, they have repeatedly changed the standard for handstand push-ups over and over again. So the way that athletes are learning in class may not be the standard that the games organizers are expecting. It seems a little bit confusing that every year you're expected to perform a movement, but the standard is different. Um, this year we saw, I don't know, it's very controversial, athletes having to do box step ups in the quarterfinals. The way you would do that in class is you step up, both feet on the top, get extension, and step down. However, if you were doing that in class, it'd be fine. The purpose would be get up, get down. Don't hurt yourself. In the quarterfinals, the standards were, I think, clear. They could have been clearer. There was a picture of what it looked like when you were at full extension of the top of the box, and the folks who didn't get penalized held to that standard. They might have moved slower though to achieve that standard. I don't know. Apparently 35% of people were penalized for that movement alone. So that calls into question whether or not that standard is appropriate for competition. But let's go back a little bit further. What makes CrossFit the sport different than other professional sports, established professional sports? If you think about the PGA Tour, you think about tennis, you think about NFL, you think about Major League Baseball. We'll just pick four. And I'm going to take one example. Major League Baseball. Whether you are a 9-year-old playing Pee Wee baseball or you are in college, the game of baseball is no different. You hit a ball, you run around the bases, you try not to get out, and you get back to home and you score points. That never changes. There are never changes in the standard. There are never changes in when is the season going to start. We all know that basically the second week of April, Major League Baseball opens. Nothing changes about the rules or how you play the game. CrossFit, on the other hand, maybe November, December, if somebody's on top of it, they'll put out a rule book. And in the rule book, from year to year, things will change about when the season starts, how teams can be formed, when the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the games will be held. And then whether or not how a person can be on a team and what are all of the rules surrounded by how they can become a team. Then you have age groups. How can a person who's say 35 compete with the individuals, but also compete in the age groups? And then when did those quarterfinals start? When did those semifinals start? It's a complete and total, I don't want to use the word nightmare, but it is not consistent. It is not consistent from year to year. And frankly, people are confused. People probably stay confused. Every year you have to figure out when your season starts and then make sure you've dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's, which, yes, you should do. But I don't know with all these other professional sports if those are really things that people are worried about. We change the rules every year and expect people to know them all, um, without any real guidance beyond from H2 beyond go read the rule book. And if you have questions, let us know. That's just, for me, it's problematic. And I'm not even somebody who is in the realm of qualifying for any of those stages. My season is the open. Point blank. I don't I back in the day when I first started, if they had quarterfinals, I would have gone to quarterfinals. Now I work out for to be fit for life. But as a fan, it's sort of distressing to me to watch really good athletes have their seasons ended because of changing rules, changing standards, all these things. I mean, I do the judges course fairly consistently. Some years I've missed it when I knew I wasn't going to be in an affiliate to judge anybody. But even with that, you take the judges course and they don't even show you the movements that are going to be presented in the open or the quarterfinals. So if box step ups were going to be scrutinized as much as they were this year, it probably would have been best for box step ups to be in the judges course so that everybody understood what the standard was. That's just my opinion. I think that the judges course, while great, doesn't prepare folks for whatever new movement or new standard that is going to be introduced. So there's some improvement that could happen there. Um, Video review. While I did do the judges course, I have never gone to try to review anybody's videos. One, because it's terribly hard to do. They don't really have a good system, and I don't understand why they're relying on people to upload to YouTube at this point. Well, still, in this point, um, the company was bought by a tech private equity, I believe. And so why haven't they come up with a place for these videos to be deposited? So like other organizations use Beyond the Whiteboard. Um, I don't really understand why there isn't a repository for these athlete videos. And with the videos, choose a side. Upload the video right when you do it. And I'm talking to HQ. Tell people to upload the video after they do it. And don't give them the option. Like, if you want to move on to the next stage, your video must be accompanied with your score. All this business of, well, maybe you should or maybe you shouldn't, and it's not really required. We saw that play out this year with in the Open, where one of the female athletes won the Open, but has no video proof that she got the best score. Now, what CrossFit will say was, well, she can't win the money. However, it seems like if you want to move on to the next stage, you should have a video. Like, I don't understand if you want to move on to the next stage why you wouldn't have a video. And I say that having friends who have been good enough to move on to the next stage, and I know it can be hard to set up during a class during Friday Night Lights, but I think that if we're asking for the best athletes to be moved on to the next part of the season, we need to be able to see that they are actually capable of doing that. I'm not saying that people are cheating and putting in high scores, but without videos, we don't know. We just don't know. So I watched an interview with Jason Grubb. He's one of the Masters athletes. I think he's in 49, 45 to 49. He always posts his videos. So there's no question about his performance. And he's won his age group, I think, like 5 years in a row. Um, just upload them. Just upload them. And CrossFit should make that a priority and say, we are going to review the first, couple of hundred. If you are in contention to move to the next portion of the season, we're going to review your video. Now, should they do that with the top 25%? I don't know. Should they do that for those who have the potential of moving on, ones who have a history of moving on to semifinals and the games? Absolutely. Now, there's going to be some holes in that theory of, well, there's always the new person that nobody expects to be on the leaderboard that high. I strongly suggest having video reviews. A lot of camps use the AFJ, the what's it, the Association of Fitness Judges, to judge their workouts. Contract them to review the videos. I just don't understand why that can't happen. Why we can't have a better system in place. It feels like we're still trying to put together things with band-aids and paper clips. Like, the sport has been around for what, 16 years? Was it the 2007? So about 17 years. The sport's been around for 17 years. We should have a better system in place. So with that, this will be my last thing that I'm going to talk about. And then I hope you guys put your comments down below. I'm sorry that I couldn't get the chat turned on. Again, this is my first time doing a YouTube live. So I will figure out how to do that on the next one so we can have sort of an exchange of ideas. So the last thing, I watch Dave Castro's Week in Review. I like Dave. I met him in Nashville, Tennessee, 2017 at regionals, and we had a really nice conversation. But there are times when I'm just like, I don't understand the man. There are other competitions like Wadapalooza, like Rogue, like the Torian Pro, who are doing things to make the competition, to up it, to up level the competition. They're doing things more efficiently and being more engaged, um, with the athletes, with the fans, and repeatedly, I've heard Dave Castro, when asked if he goes to other competitions, what does he think? And he goes, I don't go to any other competitions." And to a certain extent, I can understand that. Having been a person who used to work in the performing arts, it can be very hard to go to an event and not fall into the role that you are used to in your job. So I'm sure there's probably some like self-preservation in not going, but I feel like CrossFit HQ, and I'm not going to just say Dave because Dave is not all of CrossFit, but I feel like there's an opportunity that's being missed by not sending someone, whether that's Boz or Chuck Carswell or someone else from sport, to go to these other competitions, see what they're doing well, and find ways to incorporate that into the CrossFit Games season. There are, I would say, the Torium Pro, which, living on the East Coast of the United States, can be really hard to watch because of the time difference, but I thoroughly enjoy it because they make it a fan experience alongside it being a semifinal. And I believe Wadapalooza is the same way. They seem to run a really good competition, and alongside that, a really great fan experience. So what I'm wondering is, why isn't CrossFit taking a look at these and learning some lessons from what other competitions are doing well? Like, what are they doing that could improve the CrossFit Games experience? So, for example, Rogue. Um, I don't remember if this was the first, if last year was the first year they did this. It might be the first year I was paying attention. But for the qualifiers, they had the C and the Q. The C was a community workout written by, well, a series of community workouts written by Street Parking that folks who wanted to participate could participate in. I think you could actually register um, through Rogue, um, just to have your name on the leaderboard and possibly get a shirt. And then they had the Q, which was for people who actually wanted to qualify to participate in the Rogue Invitational. I don't understand. It was great. It was great. I did the C workouts and they were great, but I don't understand why CrossFit doesn't see something like that and go, we've been pushing that the Open is a community event. And so many athletes are saying now the Open doesn't matter. Well, how about we do this? How about we make the Open a community event? But if you would like to participate in the competition, that is the CrossFit Games, your season starts with this set of workouts that is completely different from the community workouts, which means the second set has to be up leveled. It has to be um, something that is like an intermediate level so that people know exactly, just at looking at it, who it's for. Um, and I think that will take some of this the Open doesn't matter chatter and push it to the side, because then the Open will clearly be for the community, which it always has been. And I don't really understand why people seem to have forgotten that, or maybe there's people new in the space who didn't understand that to begin with. It's always been about the community. Um, but we got a lot of loud voices saying now the Open doesn't matter, and that conflicts with the goal of getting more people to do the Open. So why not split them off? Let the Open be a community competition, and maybe you point that more to the affiliates, give prizes within the affiliates for top scores, something like that. But if you want to take a competition route and go to quarters or semifinals or sanctionals, whatever we're going to call it, each year, and eventually the games, your season starts with a harder set of workouts. Now, how you do that, I don't know. I'm not an affiliate owner. Um, so the logistics is not something that I've given a lot of thought of, but I feel like it's an important step. And then alongside that, whatever the workouts are, the standards should be what the existing standards are. In other words, if we're going to put handstand push-ups in a workout, it should be the same standards that we are learning in class, the same standards that they're going to teach you in some form of fashion in the L1, L2, even gymnastics course. They should stay the same. That is the one thing that I feel like is holding CrossFit back from being professional, is that things keep changing. The known and unknowable has made this turn into the wild, wild west. And as long as that is the case, how can we expect anybody to take us seriously? You change the rules every single year, we will not be professional like the PGA. The PGA, you hit a ball in a hole. You do that 18 times. Don't hit the ball too many times and you win. That's all it is. The rules of golf don't change. The rules of football don't change. The rules of baseball don't change. Yet CrossFit changes every single year. And Lord help us if one year Dave's not here and someone else is programming. And this is not shade at Adrian because he's put in that situation, but every single year it's like, okay, let's put some rules in a bag and shake it up and see which ones pop out. And those are our rules for the year. We just can't afford to do that. We can't afford to do that and then expect people to take us seriously and say that we're professional. We gotta attend to our own house and fix the foundations of our house before we start talking about getting the benefits of being professional. Because if the house is shaky, nothing else matters. And that's where I feel like we are right now. Again, I love CrossFit, and I'll sometimes watch Sivan or Andrew Hiller or Craig Ritchie and other folks who talk about the space. And I think we all love CrossFit, the methodology and the sport, and we all want to see it get better. But we have to take a realistic look. And I think a lot of people are saying these things. What I think is CrossFit is not listening. And that's a problem. I think they're hearing us, but they're not listening. They want to stick with, what they do and not realize all the resources that are out there that could help them be better. So let's fix our house. Let's firm up that foundation. Once we do that, we can go professional. I hope this has been helpful. It feels like I've been ranting. I didn't mean to go on for a half an hour, but there you go. I had stuff to say. I want to hear your comments down below. You can follow me on Instagram at the Masters Division. And who knows, I'll maybe try this again soon with the semifinals coming up. Love to give a recap or just my thoughts on that and how it went. I think, I don't actually know. I think age groups started this week and individuals might be in a week or two. I don't know. The rule book, again, who even knows? It's been great talking to you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.